So in this room of, let's say, 25 people, how many do you think struggle with mental health? 1 to 5? 5 to 10? 20 to 25? Well, 20 to 25 out of the group struggle with mental health, which is why this project is so important to me. My name is Bohlin, and my senior project is about stress management. Over the past decade, the stress level in students has skyrocketed around the world. There's like 5 highest stress levels across the country, one being Alaska, the United States as a whole, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Iran and Afghanistan, and Australia. Even with the resources provided by schools across the country, only about 2% utilize those resources for help. Reflecting back on my education, starting about 5 years ago, I started struggling with mental health. I was unsure of what was going on or who to talk to. During 8th grade, I started talking to my guidance counselor, Mrs. Estefan, who was a resource that helped me understand my struggles with mental health and how it affected my schooling. Ms. Estefan is the reason why I wanted to go back to Bohlin Memorial to do my senior project. My research question going into this project was, how can teenagers be supported to better manage, cope, and deal with their stress? So I went to Bohlin Memorial to do my project, and when I first started going to the middle school, it was just me sitting in on her stress management classes just to see what the students already knew. And then I got to work with a small group of 8th graders Ms. Estefan put together for me to talk about their everyday stress and healthy ways to cope with it. Going into the group, I asked the students what they had been using prior to cope, and the most common answer was nothing. My goal was to provide insight to these students about different coping skills they can use anywhere. I went to a gemstone place and a gemstone store in Burlington, Vermont, and individually picked out different worry stones I thought the girls would like. Worry stones are smooth little stones that you can fidget with throughout the day, and I actually have one up here that I can use. And these actually ended up being their favorite coping skills I provided them with. The girls also asked to do an arts and crafts activity, so I bought supplies for them to make slime at our last meeting. And when I finished the group meetings after 4 weeks, I sent the 8th graders reflection papers so I could have feedback. And overall, they said that the group is beneficial for them and they like meeting. To get a professional view on this topic, I arranged an interview with our school's psychologist, Dr. Kate Murphy. Dr. Murphy had a lot of vital information about stress management and how she suggests different students deal with stress. We talked about how she became a psychologist and why she was working in a school setting rather than her own private practice. She explained her everyday struggles dealing with high school students and how her schedule varies day to day and how important it is for students to reach out for help if they're struggling. She concluded the interview by stating, "There are so many people out here willing and wanting to help kids manage stress. You just have to let us know." I believe my personal connection to this topic provided a lot of insight as well. Ever since 7th grade, I have been dealing with mental health problems, and my family and I have tried many different things to help, like medication, neurofeedback, meditation, but by far the most helpful has been counseling. I've been seeing an outside counselor through a private practice for a few years now, and the results have been amazing. She has taught me so many different coping skills that I could share with my 8th grade students. And not everyone has the privilege or can afford to have an outside counselor, which is why it is so important to know your resources and know your coping skills if you don't have access to one. Understanding resources and using them to help their fullest potential has helped expand not only my own toolbox of coping skills, but students across the country as well. I have a quote right here that says, "Being in control of your life and having realistic expectations about your day-to-day challenges are keys to stress management, which is perhaps the most important ingredient to living a happy, healthy, and rewarding life." I believe teenagers are underestimating how stress can impact your life, and either they aren't doing anything about it or they're using poor coping skills. Even though there are many valuable resources available to help, stress shows up in many different ways, and it's not always bad. We do in fact need a little bit of stress in our life, but it is important to take care of your mind and body. And I would like to say thank you to Kelsey Mumford, my mentor, and Ms. Estefan for letting me use her space at BHS. And also thank you to Ms. Aubin and Dr. Kate Murphy. Any questions?